guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be attempting the non-dominant hand challenge, which for me is my left hand. So pretty much, draw a picture with your non-dominant hand and compare it to a drawing with your dominant hand. Now, I'm really bad at using my non-dominant hand. Like, I can't even figure out how to hold a pencil in it. So yeah, this was an interesting video, so make sure you stay around to the end to see me trying to draw with my left hand. Also, so far, 100% of my viewers are subscribed, so if you're not subscribed, don't be that one person who isn't subscribed. And on with the video. So my original idea was that I was going to have on the right, it would be like this ballerina who's really good and talented and snobby and like, oh look at me, I'm so good at this, because it'd be the good drawing. Then on the left it would be like an absolute wreck. Also, I didn't want to draw the exact same thing because I figured that'd get kind of boring for me and for you. So I want to have some variation with the facial expressions and with like the pose and with some of the character. So I was going to have the right be like a dog ballerina and on the left a cat ballerina. Now I want to do this because I kind of want to try doing some texture with my non-dominant hand, so I could do like fur texture and get to compare that. But then I was drawing the dog. I didn't like how the leotard bit of the outfit was looking, and I don't know, the pose, I was having some problems with figuring that out. And it was a cute idea, but I was also just losing the general inspiration I had to draw that. So I came up with a different idea. It'd be this girl holding up a medal that would be like gold medal #1, and on the left it would be like second place and she'd be an absolute wreck. So I sketched it out one time and wasn't liking it, so I redid it and I liked it much better. What I really want to do is have her have this really confident, bold look, like she's great, she knows she's great, you know. So to help elevate that feeling of like confidence and, I don't know, a fiery personality, I was going to make the right be all warm colors pretty much. So for her actual character, I focused mainly on yellow and red, and then the background's going to be orange and red, which you'll see later. But I thought it'd make it feel a lot more explosive and confident, you know. I don't know, for me, warm colors always scream confidence, which is what I wanted her to emit. I think it did help. Like, I can't imagine her being all in cool colors. The contrast between the warm colors and cool colors on the left side really helps push the feelings in both of them. When I was inking it, there wasn't too many problems. I had a bit of trouble figuring out the ponytail because I don't draw ponytails that often. But besides that, everything was going fine, except that darn left hand. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with it, like having it clutch the metal wasn't looking right. I think it's because it's like such a thin string that my brain doesn't properly know how to draw that, I guess. I don't know. But I couldn't figure out having her clutch it, so I had her just holding it kind of weirdly, and the hand just looks awful. I can't figure out what the problem is. It's facing the right direction. It should kind of look like that. I don't know what's wrong with it. I tried to figure it out, but eventually I just gave up, and I'm like, it's one hand in the whole drawing. It's not a big deal. Then I went on to the colors, and I made, like I said, mostly everything reddy and yellowy. And I knew I wanted to have her have like dyed hair. I tried to have like a gradient from yellow to red and then kind of define it more, because in my head I wanted her to have like multiple stripes of red in her hair, but I didn't know exactly how to make that look good, and it wasn't looking right the way I did the first time. So I started over and I drew in red stripes with a normal brush, and then I blurred the ends of those stripes a lot and the sides of them a bit to try and make it like fade in more. But I can't do it too much or else it just turns into like a red blob rather than defined stripes. And I think I found a good middle ground between just blob of red and red stripes. I've tried doing like stripes of dyed hair before, but it's never really worked out. This is the best I've ever done. I don't think it looks too bad, and I think it really aids in, showing off her personality. Because she's, confident in herself. She can dye her hair crazy ways or whatever. You know what I mean, I hope. And then for her ponytail, I just did a red to yellow fade because I don't think stripes would look good in there, but keeping it just blonde wasn't looking right. So this was a good middle ground. Also, while blurring things, I went ahead and outlined everything in red. Not outlined, but I made sure to color beneath the outline in red, because when you blur things and there's white space around, it'll make it all white, and it's the most annoying thing. So I made sure to be very thorough with that because I wanted this to look pretty good. And normally you can just ignore it and move on, but especially since so much of this is going to rely on blurring to make it look right, it was very important to not have a lot of random white blurring messing with the dyed hair. So there's another problem I also had with the dyed hair, which came about when I moved on to using a clipping mask. For this drawing, what I want to do, since I've been experimenting with clipping masks more, is have the outline of the character be black, but everything else is colored line art. And I like that, so I've been doing that with all my art pretty much from now on. But you see, there comes a problem with colored line art that I've experienced before, where whenever there's like any kind of gradient, sometimes the lines will be in like one gradient color and then go to the other, so then you have to gradient the line art as well, or just choose which color to use. For this one, I just used two different shades of red, one that was more yellowy and one that was a dark red, and the closer it got to yellow, I used the more yellowy red. But for the most part, I just stuck with red this time because it wasn't too much yellow in the gradient of the ponytail where the lines are. So I wasn't too worried about having to put the tiny bit of yellow in there. And it looks a bit off because, it's mostly red, and as it goes into the yellow, it's still the same color, but it's not too noticeable. It's just a few lines in the ponytail. Though, also with the hair, there are a lot of problems with dyeing the hair, if you can't tell. I tried doing my normal way of drawing hair, which is pretty much just doing lines that kind of follow where the hair go and then blurring those. The lines are just usually in a darker color. But, since there's a gradient, I had to choose one color, stick with it, or use multiple. I used two, and so the transition's a lot more jarring after doing my hair texture. So I did turn the opacity down a bit, but it mostly made things worse. Then I just added in a red to orange gradient to make the background look all fiery like her personality. And that was pretty much it. The right hand drawing looks nice. Great. So I had confidence going into the left-hand drawing because I'm like, wow, this turned out so nice. Then I, started. And it was hard figuring out where to start because I could barely even like clutch the pencil. Everything was shaking. I didn't know how to rest my hand down because with my right hand, drawing without touching my iPad feels natural now. But with my left hand, it's like, what is going on? What am I even doing with my right hand normally? It's like breathing or something. It's second nature. I don't think about it. Well, I guess breathing isn't the best example here, but trying to do it with my left hand, I don't even know how. I don't know how my right hand holds a pencil or what position it's normally in. It just happens. So trying to replicate that with my left hand was really uncomfortable and confusing. So since I couldn't even hold the pencil pretty much, I had no control. I tried, especially in the beginning. With the sketching, I was really loose, it's okay, inking's what's gonna matter here. And I really tried in the beginning, that hair, it looks pretty good. Well, pretty good compared to everything else. Then things quickly went downhill. That's really the only thing that looks okay. The head's malformed. The mouth and nose are touching. For most of this, I didn't really feel like undoing too, because it's just gonna be bad either way. What's the point in drawing the same line 5 times when chances are it's just gonna turn more squiggly? So I, for the most part, didn't undo. A lot of the lines aren't close too. So when it came to coloring, I knew I wanted to use the bucket tool, which needs closed lines. I didn't want to color in by hand because, shaky hand, that'd be a nightmare. So I had to go and close all the lines before using the bucket tool. And for this, like I said, I used mostly cool colors. I didn't really use green because green, purple, blue color palettes I don't think look the best depending on what kind of green you use. Like a bluey green is fine, but green right next to, shades of blue and purple is more difficult to work out. So I made her mainly blue and purple, and then the background I also stuck with blues and purples for. I still went through this drawing kind of trying to make it normal, I guess, or treating it as if it was a normal drawing. I went through all the same processes. I did my first sketch, my second sketch, I did my inking, I did my coloring. I did change the process for coloring, but I still did it. I did the hair texture, I shaded, I did my clipping mask. I just pretended like nothing was wrong while going through all these processes. Cause sure, I could have not done shading or something, but it's already a mess. It's okay, I can put more mess in it. So I did have horrible shading. It's not blended at all. It's in the wrong places. I don't even know if I tried using the blur tool to make it look better. It's so bad. The shading underneath the hair isn't too bad. Everything else is a mess. I guess the shine in the metal, that looks alright. And by the time I got to the clipping mask, a lot of this need to be precise here, and I won't lie. I didn't use my right hand, but I did kind of hold my left hand with my right hand and try to make it better, cause I had no stability. I just clutched the pencil with 2 hands, and it was better than just my left hand, of course. So yeah, that's why the clipping mask, everything's in fairly good places. I did use my right hand for selecting colors too, just because I didn't see the need to mess up the colors, It's you already get the point of how bad my left hand is at this just by looking at the drawing. You don't need that accentuated by bad colors. You can't even see me selecting colors, you know? And I also put on the signature with my right hand because I also want that in the right place. But besides that, everything was left-handed. And that's about it. I like how the right hand looks. She looks nice. The left hand person she's interesting. If you like this video, then please make sure to like it. Also, comment below whether you're right-handed or left-handed, and how well you can draw with your undominant hand. Also, please make sure to subscribe and follow all my social media in the description below. And I will see you all next week.